Right, guys. So, as you might have seen, the agenda for today is WAT as well as SRT. Fine. My question is that when it comes to WAT, right? How do I reflect myself? The voice is audible here. Arijit, please kindly check your audio connection. Fine. So, question is like, uh, there is a lot of there are a lot of common kind of sentences that everyone will use, right? So it sounds repetitive, to be honest, right? But the question is, let's say if I have this particular sentence that hard work leads to success, fine, and I have 100 people, okay, who are writing the going along the same sentence, right? They have the same word stimulus, which is hard work, fine. Let's say they have written hard work leads to success, fine. So all the ex students, old students, please do not answer this. I want answers from the others. Okay. So my question is that how do I differentiate between a word, a sentence written by someone who has XYZ profile, and how do I differentiate between all these 100 profiles? You understand my question, right? So if everyone is writing hard work leads to success, fine. So then how do I differentiate? Because to be honest, SSB is a test of personality, right? And we all know that we all have unique personalities which are distinct from one another, right? So then if my profile is distinct, how do I reflect that in my responses? Anyone? Repeaters, come on. Handwriting, very nice. Good. Major areas. Shweta says major areas. Okay, fine. But when we talk about the quality of responses, so we know that observational kind of sentences are the best ones, right? Now the observation आ कहाँ से रही है? सवाल ये है. Where does this observation? Okay, very nice. Past experience. Okay, fine. ठीक है. Audio is working now. Connect with SD. Okay, very nice. Interesting answers coming up. है ना? So I hope you guys understand. I mean, आप लोगों ने answers दे दिए है ना? And can you guys unmute yourself? Please check. I think you can, है ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Fair
sir.
enough. Great. Great. So again, so the question is that if 100 people are writing the same sentence, which is hard work leads to success, right? Then what is the differentiator? How do I tell that, okay, person one has written this sentence and this is how it's different from person two and person three and person four? Because we know we all have unique personalities, right? Unique individualities. But how do I differentiate? Like, okay, on the basis of sentences, everyone is writing hard work leads to success. Then how do I differentiate? And how do I include the observational kind of sentences in these responses, in my responses?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, man. चल बता.
Sir, sir, I believe suppose if you are writing the same sentence that you told us earlier, like hard work leads to success. And
हाँ,
suppose if I want to relate with my all of the things, whether it is PAQ, whether it is SGT or anything, how I can distinct myself from others is like I have to include all the things. Like suppose I am a badminton player, so I need to write something like hard work in dribbling shots of in the 3 to 4 words like hard work in dribbling increases the efficiency or leads to success.
Okay.
So I think that by this thing, I can differentiate my profile very precisely.
ओके ओके, हार्ड वर्क किल्स ईगोइंग एटीट्यूड, नहीं यार इसमें मजा नहीं आया। देखो, लेट्स एलैबोरेट ऑन व्हाट मयंक हैज सेड राइट नाउ, फाइन। सो if hard work leads to success, then it should be true across all areas of my life, right? And that is when I talk about sports, when I talk about academics, fine, when I talk about uh, my extracurricular activities, fine, things we have done in the past and implementing things in the present as well. Okay, fair enough, right? So hard work teaches value. That is also similar, right? There is no specificity. How do I tell that? Okay, if Arijit says hard work teaches value, what do I take out of it? Like, what extracurricular activity does Arijit do, right? Which sport does he play? I have no answer regarding that, right? Instead, let's say for example, like I played basketball, right? I can tell you about basketball, right? So if I say that practicing jump shots increases accuracy, right? So the thing is that I have become more specific in just one single instant. Fine. I was supposed to hand and footwork coordination requires hard work in badminton. ठीक है, in badminton वाला, but ये थोड़ा सा लंबा हो जाएगा. But ठीक है, acceptable, acceptable. Fine. Doing hard work in running helps. Okay. Hard work is show of willpower. This is again general. ठीक है. Let's see. So some good examples are coming up. Doing hard work now will allow you to do less hard work in future. वो generally true है. ठीक है. I am looking for hand and footwork coordination requires hard work in badminton. ठीक है. Doing hard work in running helps us in volleyball. Fair enough. You understand? ठीक है. Or maybe doing wall practice improves strength of smashing in volleyball. Correct? So in that fashion, I can be more specific, right? Let's also apply this same formula across another topic of my life. Let's say, for example, daily flexibility improves drills of for NCCF. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Good ones coming up now. Sometimes, why sometimes? So Bharati writes, sometimes smart work can replace hard work. Sometimes. So even you're not sure about the truth of the statement, right? So like, how can, there's no scope for uncertainty. Fine. Excelling in mathematics requires hard work. Chalega. This is still okay. Fine. Okay, fair enough. Right. So let's say if I say, uh, I have an extracurricular activity. Fine. Let's say debating. Okay, or maybe public speaking. Fine. So if I say, what can I say regarding these? What sentences can I make regarding this? If I have my activity as debating or public speaking, fine. And I try to apply this same sentence, which is hard work leads to success, and I try to implement it on public speaking. So, what would the sentence sound like or look like? Tell me. Anyone? Not audible, bro. Mayank. Learning mudras of Kathak requires hard work. Chalega.
So regular speaking with people improves communication.
Yes, perfect. Right? Daily practice improves. Exactly. Good, 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 good. Exactly. Right. So I hope you guys understand the idea, central idea, or the generalistic idea remains the same. However, as we apply it across the various areas of our life, it changes form. Fine. Daily newspaper reading helps in public speaking. Perfect. Yes. Yes, indeed. Right. Now, this is what I tell my students to do. Fine. This is how you can actually improve. Okay. Let's also apply the same thing over, let's say, for example, academics. ओके, सो एकेडमिक्स में हम क्या करते हैं? प्रैक्टिसिंग मॉक्स हेल्प्स इंप्रूव मार्क्स, फाइन, और सॉल्विंग मैथ्स helps improve calculations. Sometimes it might be fine, sometimes it might not be, but you get the central idea. Okay, see, the thing is that association is more important. Association, what do you associate hard work with? Focus study improves scores. Okay, let's not, let's also try and understand the concept first. Okay, then maybe we can think about everything else. And practicing questions helps in academics. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Group study leads to good score. Perfect. Right. Exactly, exactly. है ना? So you get the idea, right? Whenever we get a general kind of a statement, let's try and apply it in any significant area which has influenced our life majorly. Fine. ठीक है. Great. This is the central idea. Now the question is that whether you implement it or not. है ना? Documentation definitely helps. Fine. Now that this part is sorted, so usually what starts happening is people start writing 5 to 6 words long sentences. Okay. Now that also creates an issue because the psychologist will know by seeing, by looking at your responses that this person has taken coaching. Fine. So then what you have to do is how do I get around this? If I'm writing 3 or 5 word long sentences, okay, and the psychologist gets suspicious that okay, this guy has taken coaching, then how do I circumvent this?
So by mixing the sentences like 30 to 40 WAT should be very precise, and the rest of them should be in a long way, like 6 to 7 words, maybe.
uh, Initially, actually, what you should do is initially you should write longer sentences. Okay, that would make it better. You understand? So if I start writing a natural language initially, so the first impressions that the psychologist will take away is that okay, the person is just getting adjusted according to WAT, is writing natural language. Fine. Thereafter, Weber, made yourself.
Negative impact that I have taken coaching from somewhere.
Hmm. Huh?
Does it make a negative impact if I am saying them that I have taken coaching from anywhere?
It does not. It does not. But some marks are deducted for trainability. You understand? So using vocabulary also shows that candidate is coached. Not
Did you sir
necessarily,
ask
not
me
necessarily, but the length of sentences it does matter. Yes. Huh. Yes, Arijit. Saying something.
my GTO sir asked me that did I take any coaching from anywhere or not?
Huh.
So I told him the truth that yes, I took the coaching, and he asked me how many times ago, how much
Huh.
times ago. I told them just 2 weeks ago I took that.
अच्छा. देखो क्या है, the thing is that when you take coaching, so if you apply or copy paste the entire thing, because you are not being responsive, right? There are some telltale signs on the basis of which they can tell that you've taken coaching. Fine. So you have to keep your responses natural. That is why I'm saying initial 10-15 questions, write a very in a natural language. Okay. Slightly longer, 6, 7, 8 words long sentences. Fair enough. Thereafter, after writing 10 to 12 or 15 sentences, thereafter you can migrate towards smaller sentences. Okay, because the thought process also gets streamlined. Right? By asking how to get to know that a person is coached. By asking. ठीक है, वो पता चल जाता है, टेल टेल साइंस होते हैं ऑल ऑफ अस. देखो, साइकोलॉजी में भी, टैट में भी इंस्ट्रक्शंस नहीं होते हैं दैट यू हैव टू मेंशन द एज ऑफ द कैरेक्टर ईच एंड एवरी टाइम, है ना? दैट इज एन इंस्ट्रक्शन फॉर पीपीडीटी. But still, why do people write Ram 23 every time? Why do they open with that? कभी किसी ने बोला है आपको? कहीं किसी ने, कहीं आपने लिखा हुआ देखा है? Mostly we pick it up from repeaters, correct? But question is it necessary to write age and TAT? No. There is no such instruction. ठीक है? The the central character should be similar to your age. Fine. But that does not mean that you have to write the age every time. Even if you write, say, let's say he was a college graduate, I get an idea he's somewhere between 21 to 23, 24, 25. Fair enough. No need to hammer it into the psychologist. You understand? Okay. Now, then there is one more question. Sir, what do I do if I don't know the meaning of any particular word? Okay. So apart from the ex-students, can anyone tell me how do you deal with it?
Sir, mainly the parts of speech we have to detect of that word. If we can detect that, we can make a sentence after
If you
that.
don't know the meaning at all, then
Sir, meaning not known.
ex-students नहीं बोलेंगे. बताओ. बस भाई, indicate exactly rather than skipping, है ना? Just write that. Okay.
Only the word.
Huh? Only the word.
Only the word I have to write. If I don't know even the meaning.
You just write down meaning not known. That's it. Indicate it against the number of the serial number of the word. Fine.
I
Sir,
was unable to make the sentence of aloof in my first
Of?
SSB. In my first AFSB, aloof was there, the word. I couldn't make the sentence. I make a blank there.
No, don't leave it blank, right? It displays, especially if it's a negative word. If you leave blank,
Yes, sir.
then it will be a problem. Fine. So this is a negative word. Next, so Sandeep says I am a service candidate and my age is 37. So should I relate every story uh, like my age or can choose around 30? Yeah, majority of the stories should be around your age only, है ना? 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. This is acceptable. This is okay. You understand?
So can I ask something?
Huh.
Actually, first I am joining this class. May I know what is this class regarding with? Only the psych?
Yes.
Actually, I want to address that my main problem in my SSB I faced that was the TAT.
Okay.
That is my main problem
We
actually.
discussed yesterday. TAT we discussed yesterday. Fine. So I'll upload the discussion session, right? And I'll share the recording. Fine. You can go through it. You can watch that. Fine. And make improvements, I guess. Fine. Today we'll keep the agenda restricted initially. Okay. Later on we'll take doubts. Then you
Okay.
can maybe ask your doubts. Fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Because whenever there is a bigger audience involved, so it's usually better to go with an agenda. Fine. Otherwise, the entire session becomes haywire, goes haywire. Fine. You'll see when the doubts start coming up. So you'll see how it happens. Okay. Okay. So these are the general doubts and queries around WATs, right? So if you have any specific queries about WATs, okay, WATs only. I'm not talking about interview, personal interview. I'm not talking about GTO, and I'm not talking about TAT. I'm not talking about SRT. I'm only talking about WAT in specific. This just this one test. If you guys have any doubts, you can ask now. We have 6 minute window. Let's see what kind of doubts come up.
Sir, maximum times couldn't able to make sentences. In that cases, can we make informative sentence?
Informative, not really. Don't make it a pattern. Couple of sentences here and there which are informative or factual in nature are okay. But if all of your sentences become that like that, then it's a problem, right?
Right.
I never said that, Patil. I never said that.
Sir,
Okay, I
कोई
never said. Patil says that is asking. Wait, is it necessary to relate that with yourself every time? No, but it opens up another diverse way of writing WATs. Fine, and it is more reflective of your personality. What to do when we go blank on a specific word or negative sentence approaching our mind? You should practice more. You should practice more. Simply, okay, if you're going blank, understand why you're going blank. Right? You need to resolve those issues first, right, and then practice. Okay, because WAT is a reflection of the psyche, right? What's wrong with using should, must, etc. They show uncertainty of action, right? The more moment you start using modals, they show certainty in uncertainty of action. Okay, like I say, eating healthy eating makes a person healthy. Okay, so now you add these words. Healthy eating should make a person healthy, right? So it becomes uncertain. You understand this? So just like we made sentence on hard work relating from our life, can you give a few examples for negative? Negative words में you देखो यार, बाउंसर पे छक्का मारने की कोशिश करनी नहीं चाहिए, ठीक है? कैच आउट होने के चांसेस ज्यादा रहते हैं, समझ रहे हो? So what I would advise is on negative sentences, if you're just able to save your wicket, negative words, if you're able to just deal with them, not end up giving anything negative, that is also okay. Okay, you don't have to be fancy there. So it should be related to current affairs or not. Couple of them. Okay, so like if you're writing 60 sentences, then you can write maybe 5, 6 on that. Fine. But too much use of current affairs also creates problem because then you are not portraying your personality there. You're just giving something, copying and pasting something that you read somewhere. There's no element of your personality into it. Fine. Sir, if a word is being repeated, should I write the same sentence or different sentence? It's up to you. It's up to you. There's no big this thing, right? 15, 20, 30 sentences पढ़ने पे idea हो जाता है अपने आप ही. I've read a book that it is okay if you attend 45 wrong. ठीक है, Bharati says 45. If I only do 45, it's okay. No, that is 45 is true for SRT. From where one should prepare vocab so that most words are easily attemptable. यार कहीं से भी कर लो vocab, ठीक है? Any place you do,
Sir,
but just
how
work
many
on your
WTs
vocab.
we have to attempt in the SSB, sir?
How to?
How many WTs we should attempt in the SSB?
Minimum 55.
Okay, sir.
ठीक है. Next person should eat healthy to be healthy.
Maximum
What's
I have
the
attempted 48 WT till now.
Huh? You have done maximum
Maximum
48.
48. I have
Okay, then
done
you
it.
need to work on a speed, bro. You come below 55, it is assumed that all the responses that you've written, they are not your first response. These are premeditated responses. You've took quite a while to write down these responses. Fine.
Okay, sir.
Forensics help in solving murder. Will it be okay? If the word is murder, then it's okay. If it's forensics, then why did you not take a positive side? Like, let's say forensics help solve a crime, for example. Okay, but you're going specific. Murder, right? Or maybe if you say forensics investigate a crime scene using technical expertise, fine. That is also okay. Right? Chale. Next. Precautions lessen effects of disease. Chalega. For example, the word is group. Here is the first that comes to mind is group study right now, which I feel, which I find good, but some people find it not. Some people don't. How are some people important to your selection? Who is important to your selection? Your ideas. You. Don't go according to what others have to say. Okay. Should I go with what is right for me or should I go with? No, go with what is more relatable to you. Okay. External. Okay. Hold on. What if word itself is should or must? नहीं ऐसा नहीं होता. Do we need to avoid writing sentence regarding yes, military army? Yes, as far as possible. But a few sentences you can write 3, 4, 5 sentences at max. Okay? Because that is the most obvious theme that will come to anyone's mind. Tactical murders are for the faith of nation. Why you're going to murders, bro? Murders is a negative word. Fine. If murders was the word given to you, then that would have been okay. This sentence would have been okay. But if it's tactical or nation or faith, anything, then it will be negative. You understand? Must. Okay, okay.
Sir, if there is sentence that is accident, what type of sentence we can make, sir?
Sentences, word is
Accident.
okay. So traffic signals help in preventing following rules helps prevent accidents. Fair enough.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Solution oriented. Okay. Chaliye. Now that we're past half an hour, we have discussed doubts related to WAT. I think WAT में बहुत ज़्यादा fancy doubts नहीं होते हैं. ठीक है. So that is why I mean, we can finish it off quickly. Anyway, moving on to the next part, which is the SRT. Right? Does anyone have anything for me, or should I get started with my delivery first? Anyone has any questions related to SRT? No? Sir, what if we form a sentence but omit the given word, and how many such sentences will be good? See, there's no limit to it. Fine. There's no consensus among psychologists as to whether or not you should write the word. But they say that you do not need to write the word. Fine. Get the central idea. Association is about, it's association. It's not copying the word, use the word to write the sentence. You understand this? It's about association. What do you associate that idea, that word with? Fine. We all have ideas, right? We all have experiences. Fine. So how to connect that? You understand? I have seen some recommended candidates. They were saying it's fine if you have attempted less number of bats, but it should be good quality. Will that be okay? I don't think maybe it worked for him in that for that particular psychologist. Okay, not for everyone. You understand this? I'm not able to speed up in SRT. Reading itself is taking way too much time. See, SRT ka number is 45. It is way lesser. SRT is a test of your conscious mind. You understand? So it's way lesser. Fine. So you can get away with that also. Okay. How much should we describe our SRT answer? A book said that you need to write your reaction and your action after. See, initial few sentences, like I said, in WAT, write them in detail. Once the first impressions are made, thereafter you can cut short. Okay, but in order to make good first impressions, what we need is at least initial few you write properly with proper length. Okay. Next question is, in SRT, do we write only immediate action and also add continuing what the person was? हो सकता है, but only after handing all the responsibilities, handing over. ठीक है. So let us suppose a situation in which is given, in which you are having a resource, let's assume a torch, and the situation of the battery of the torch dies. Acha, okay. And in the situation, acha, battery of the torch dies. Okay. So the response coming to my mind is replaced with the extra battery he was carrying. Here, utilize the resources available to you. ठीक है. So torch के बिना कितना नहीं दिखेगा कितनी देर तक. Our eyes adjust. Okay. Find where you need to go, ask the locals or something like that. है ना? But getting the torch repaired doesn't really make sense. ठीक है. चलिए, fine. Do we need to write more actions? देखो, अच्छा, SRT की बात करते हैं. तो SRT कल भी हमने बात करी थी. SRT depends on one thing, one factor, which is called socio-economic background of the candidate. ठीक है. So let's say if a person comes from a very poor background, but he has made it as an officer, let's say, for example, right? So just one moment. Okay. Or let's say if he is facing the SRT, right? So let's say, for example, a person comes from a poor background, right? And he faces an SRT that he is going to the interview in a bus, let's say. Okay. And the bus breaks down. Now, the response will be dependent on the socio-economic condition of the particular individual. All right. And this is reflective in the PIQ also. In the PIQ, when we look at the PIQ, so the family income would be on the lesser side. All right. And if that guy writes that I'll book a cab, okay, so it shows how much it's important for him, right? Because he might have to take a loan from some friend, right? More viable would be take lift from someone. More viable option till the next bus stop, and from there catch a bus, go to whatever place. You understand? Similarly, booking a cab in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai is very common. But if you go to the mountain regions, then people would more rely on the bus, another alternative bus. You understand? Or maybe Jeep, local Jeep, Bolero. Correct? So, depending on where the individual comes from, the SRT is highly specialized or highly modified according to the situations that they face in day-to-day life. All right. Now, that is the first part. Okay. Let's also understand the second part, which is, let's say, for example, the SRT is he had a feeling that he will not be able to clear the exam. Okay. Now, there are different kinds of responses here. Okay. Like we discussed yesterday, there are three major things in psychology. It's called thought, emotion, and action. Fine. So, the stimulus is of a thought. He was feeling that he would not be able to qualify the exam. Okay. So, one person writes that he buckled down and he pulled his socks up and he practiced and qualified the exam. This is the best kind of response that there can be. Action-oriented response where the end is conclusive. Right? Then someone else might write that he had a feeling, he brushed off the feeling, right? And thought about positive things. Fine. Now, this is a thought-based response. Okay. May or may not, it might be in the doubtful situation. You understand? So this is a thought or emotional kind of response. Fine. And if he writes that he started acting depressed, I mean, very few people do that, obviously, right? But the pressure is such that it's a very small number, but people do write, still write, है ना? That he gave up essentially. Fine. So that gives the most negative kind of impression of the person, right? So, couple of things we have understood so far. The SRT is dependent on the response will be dependent on socio-economic conditions. Okay. Best type of responses, action oriented. Fine. Then we have one more thing, that identification of the problem is of key essence here. ठीक है. अब जैसे हम क्या बात कर रहे हैं कि there are various kinds of problem. Yesterday we discussed that some problems might be important but not urgent. Fine. Some problems might be urgent as well as important. Fine. Some problems might not be urgent at all and not even important. You understand? So there is a trade-off. You have to highlight, you have to catch each and every problem. Like yesterday we gave the example of one SRT that he was going with his sister to catch the last bus and the only bus to his village. Meanwhile, his sister slipped on banana peel and hurt herself badly. Okay, so he. Fine. Question is, identify the problems for me. What is the most urgent and most important kind of action? Okay, tell me.
So sister's leg.
Okay, what else?
As usual, removing the banana peel.
Exactly. And we gave the answer yesterday. Removing the banana peel is the most urgent part. You understand? Thereafter, so that, I mean, no more casualties happen. Fine. Your younger brother couldn't make to the cutoff of college by just 2 marks in exam. What will you do? Okay, so I'll make him, I'll boost his confidence. I'll raise his spirit. Fine. And motivate him to work harder somehow. Okay, I will reduce his workload burden of household chores, maybe, or maybe earning. If I'm earning, then I'll reduce that. Fine. And I will let him do his thing. I will let him prosper. Fine. Vaishnavi. He was on his way to board a train for going for an interview when he received a call informing him of his father's serious condition. Okay, so he. Now, this is dependent on. यहाँ पे ना दो चीजें आ गई हैं. ठीक है. And both are, in both, the person has to come across as a responsible person. Fine. But you have to understand, jobs, they come and go. But the father, especially if you are, I mean, that's how I would have dealt with it. Fine. There is a different response to this. Some people will choose the job and later quickly come back to the father, to father. Yeah, that might be a different thing. All right. So depends on from person to person. Okay, he was on. Okay, fair enough. Understood. Right, guys. So let's take up some more doubts. Today, sorry guys, I'm slightly tired today, so I'm halfway sleepy, right, drowsy. So that is why we'll only continue the session till 8 p.m. So that I can get a bit of rest. Right, I was setting up my. You got a strict teacher, so you follow his instructions and score well. That's it. Okay. How does it matter? A strict teacher is a good teacher. He will raise the standard of the student. Right? Okay. You guys are not coming up with good SRTs, yeah. Come on. I don't know from where you guys are getting these. Groom's family demanded for dowry just before marriage ritual. So he cancelled the bloody wedding. That's what I will do. Nothing illegal, not happening, bro. No dowry from our end. Fine. Okay. He wanted his documents urgently while getting the documents. He was asked to pay bribe. He will wait. He can never, in written format, admit to committing a crime. You understand this? Fine. You are asked to do a task which you don't like. So I'll find a way. And it also depends who asked me. Okay. And this is not enjoyable, right? What should be the length of SRT? 1 to 2 line at max. In my SSB, majority of the situations I got were same. So my reactions were the same. Not really. So was I wrong? No, I won't say that. Although I would say that you might have not paid sufficient attention to the small micro differences between the two SRTs, between multiple SRTs. That is why you're asking this. Okay, that's why you feel they were all the same. Doesn't work like that, to be honest. There is always small changes here and there. So you need to read and reread. Fine. Neighbor was abusing her mother. His mother. Acha, her mother. Her या his है, his होगा. A neighbor was abusing his mother. So he gave him a stern warning, right? Called the police. अब यूज कर रहा है भाई. Call the police. Civil matter. Done. Fine. Make sure that this does not happen again. Right. What about urgency? Okay. What about urgency? I don't get it. While going through a jungle, he noticed someone is following him with a rifle. Okay. So he talked to the guy, made friends out of him, found out where he was going with the rifle, right? So it happened that he was also going to explore or maybe hunt. He accompanied him. Fine. Yes, ma'am. You have a question?
So basically there is a question. Suppose I am of a non-NCC background, and suppose the SRT comes of an NCC background or the army background. How to approach that situation? Like suppose a
With common
camp, like
sense.
common sense. Okay.
With common sense, obviously. See, even if you have not experienced a situation, but you can always imagine yourself in that situation, correct?
Hmm.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time. When we watch movies, this is what we do, essentially. Okay. So it happens all the time. We can imagine. Okay. Chaliye. There is a person who sells smuggled goods. He too, like many others, has purchased you too. Like many others have purchased a wristwatch from him, but it doesn't work. So okay, he, he made sure that he does not buy from him again, right? That is the larger problem, right? That I am buying from the wrong kind of a person, right? That is the larger problem. Immediate problem is doesn't work. I'll take it to him and get it to work. Fine. Next time I won't buy from him. Simple. I am enjoying the beauty of mountain view while my tour in a total strange place. I see 20 tribals approaching me. I don't know their language. What would I do? I would interact with them. Fine. See and try and understand what they mean. Fine. Communicate using sign language. At least, we all have non-verbals. Whenever we are at a new place, we don't, uh, we can communicate in a very small manner. ठीक है थोड़ा थोड़ा हम कर सकते हैं फिर भी you understand this but here the courage is being tested 20 tribals approaching देख के आपकी फट जाती है क्या ये वाली बात है right he was appointed captain of basketball team but his teammates revolted he will okay now here we have a good question good SRT right? Whenever you are appointed, so the authorities have entrusted leadership in you, right? They must have seen something, right? Now it's your job to prove it on ground. Okay. So first he'll communicate, and get them to court, prove them that he is the best on court, and get them to respect him. Fine. Build a good bond. Right. In women's SRTs, they are more or less about marriage and family. Always need. Yes, exactly. Argument. If you write the argument also, thoda sa. So then that makes it more convincing. So let's say, for example, her in-laws were ordering her to leave the job and stay at home, leave service, okay, and stay at home. So she convinced them by enlisting the perks and privileges and what they enjoy, what facilities they enjoy. Okay, on that basis, she convinced them to continue her job. Right?
Can you please repeat the basketball one?
Ravi, you'll have to watch the recording, bro. Fine. So because you need to pay attention, my friend. Okay, pay more attention. In women SRT, they're done. He could not find his purse on his train seat. He should I simply write look nearby and found it? Not necessarily. I mean, there are two ways you can deal with it. Okay, some people would go with this, but then I would say it's nullifying the situation. Fine. What I would do is I would go with the worst case scenario and assume that the purse has been stolen. Fine. Now the question is, what solution do I have moving forward? Right. Get the ATM log, get all the PIN documents ka FIR made. Fine. So that I can get them registered later. Right. But that is after he will try and find it. Fine. So he first retraces steps back. Fine. Thereafter, जो भी steps लिए उन्होंने, ठीक है, I hope you understand. Reported to RPF, exactly, right. Okay. He has collected a contribution from his friends for a picnic. Picnic is to be organized tomorrow in a big way. He has gone to make purchases but realizes that entire collection has been lost. Entire collection. Acha, okay. So he will, okay. Fine. Okay. He will compensate through his own pocket, out of his own pocket. Simply. Okay. Find the culprit later on. But in the meantime, he will compensate out of his own pocket. Why? Because he's a responsible person. He was charged with the duty of safeguarding the cash. Okay. If I lose it, it's on me. Fine. I'll have to replace it. Simply. Okay. Next. You are walking on a road late evening. Three people are approaching towards you with sticks in their hands. So you, okay. Simple hai. Dekho, it's not said that they're attacking you. Fine. They're approaching you. They find out why they're going around with a stick. Assess them if they need assistance. Go on your own way. Right. If we assume that they're going to come after us, that shows guilty behavior. Fear of being, or rather being paranoid, that every person out there is out to get me. You understand? Chaliye, aur dekhte hain. It was the last day to pay the tuition fee and he desperately needed money to pay the same money. Money didn't arrive to him at time. I'm not able to understand this. You might have to rewrite. His boss had asked him to do something in a particular way, but in his opinion, that way was inappropriate. Fine. So he would carry out the order of boss, recommend improvements later. ठीक है? Or suggest improvements later. You understand? It's about following chain of command. Factor 2. Okay. His superior was making derogatory remarks about women for quite some time, but nobody raised an objection for fear career loss. Okay, fine. So यार देखो, obscene remarks अगर हैं, derogatory remarks हैं, so then obviously like we can also go for POXO वगैरह, विशाखा guidelines, right? ठीक है, POXO, no, not POXO, what विशाखा guidelines, right? So, it's always about doing the right thing or wrong thing, or do you delay morality or put morality to sleep for personal gain? Okay, this is around factor 2, sense of responsibility. If you compromise on your morals for personal gain, then you are not a responsible person. Understand? Chalo. These are all the villagers support drug dealer who two gives bribe to police for station, protection. Okay. All the villagers support drug dealer who too gives right to police for protection. So he raised a question with the commissioner of police of the local area. Okay. That is most important thing. This is illegal. This is illegal. You understand? If you don't raise voice against something illegal, immoral, or unethical, then it is going to continue, my friend. Status quo will continue. You need to break the cycle. Okay. Receive the order from CEO. Do certain work which you feel is unethical, but he insists. Okay. Right. So, chain of command aa gaya, right? Unethical, but it might be need of the hour. So, I'll do it. Right. CEO है, CEO है, Chief Executive Officer है या फिर CEO है, Commanding Officer. I'm not sure. ठीक है, next. Is it okay to nullifying the? Not really, bro. His wife don't want to live with his in-laws. So he sat them down and communicated. Fine, help them open up about the issues. Fine. And continue to live with his entire family. Okay. Okay. Next. Emergency has been declared in the city where your unit is located. You are the CEO of the unit. So you. CEO, I don't think this situation will, you will see this situation in the SSB because from a very senior officer's perspective, you will not be asked. Okay? You will be asked from the ground perspective. Fine. You are a young officer who is posted on the border or the front. You understand? That is a more likely situation that you will be asked. Fine. You won't be asked to think from the CEO's perspective. Okay. I haven't seen so far. I have given 10 SSB. I have never seen any SRT like this where I made the CEO. Okay, but like I said, we can try. Emergency has been declared in the city where your unit is located. Okay, so you will order the regrouping of troops. Fine. You will set up a perimeter. Ensure safety of the team members. Fine. Decide sentry watch and decide the rotation part. Understand? He was homesick. He was at home when smoke come out of the kitchen window. ठीक है. चले, fine guys. So I think हम यहाँ तक ही लेते हैं आज doubts. Fine. I hope you guys take away something from these sessions, right? That is why we're doing it. All right. And hopefully we'll be coming up with more such sessions in the future, right? Meanwhile, if you have your SSB around the corner, you should definitely check out the courses that are starting on the 1st of October. Okay. It's if you are enjoying these sessions, if you're enjoying these strategies, then my friends, there are much more in-depth strategies inside the course. Fine. These are just what we call the tip of the iceberg, right? But these are also fundamental things that we are discussing here. Fine. So some people might be like, missing out on a few details here and there or the fundamentals. So I hope they get it done, right? What I wanted was actually from the repeaters very specific doubts. Okay? Because specific doubts sometimes they tend to open up the entire discussion and you get a very broad picture of everything. है ना? I'll upload it on YouTube. Fine, don't worry. So timings, I'll tell you. It is we have the psych batch at 9 p.m. at night. Fine. Interview batch at 8 a.m. in the morning. Fine. And screening at 7 in the evening. Fine, guys. So I'll be sharing the details soon. Fine. Otherwise, you can contact me on WhatsApp. Always open. Fine. So I'll see you guys very soon. Hopefully with a new topic. Fine. 9 p.m. We have 2 hours of classes every time. Fine. Each class is around 2 hours. Okay. So on that note, I'll take your leave, guys. Have a good night, and I hope you guys enjoy the evening.